Yo, sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 hit him. Listen, this Eagles talk, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat shelling, Dante the dark child. Drop the stats on him, drop the facts on him. Spur King, baby, let's get it on.
Hey, fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to Eagles Talk postgame. Our Philadelphia Eagles come up just short today, 21-17 against the Denver Broncos. Yes, it was a tough game. Something I kind of predicted was going to be a tough defensive battle. Wanted to see that offense regain its stride and have some consistency. Was not there. Not that they didn't give it a good try, but that was a formidable defense they were going up against. So not much from the offensive side. A.J. Brown, yes, a lot more involved, but not really big chunks of yards in the game. I'm gonna have to be very, very honest. I got to go back and see this game again. A lot of flags, and a couple not thrown. The last one, not the last one, but the one on Zach Bond, I thought was not a flag. And then there was one, the play right before the last play on Goddard. I thought there should have been one. So I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know. We had a lot of penalties on defense, and we might have cost ourselves the game, actually. Tell me if I'm wrong, if the flags were, I don't know. You guys let me know. The refs got paid. That's, you know what? I felt that. I'm trying to not say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. And that's not usually me. But I'm trying to say that it was more, I thought it was more the refs than us. But we didn't help ourselves. Let me put it that way. We didn't help ourselves in amassing some of those penalties. You know, that didn't help us. And then there were the ones that were questionable. So you can't do that. We can't do that. I'm going to go right to you guys' comment, because if you were on the pregame, you understood I was not able to be seen. I was only able to be heard. So it's good to be seen again. And I'm able to, include you guys in the conversation now. I'm not driving. So first person in the room is Jeremiah Andrews. He said, we beat ourselves. Tony Burren. Silly flag stalled that offense in that last quarter. Yes. Jeremiah comes back and says, refs got paid. I kind of feel that. You know what I mean? I kind of feel that. Gary, 0 yards rushing from Barkley. This is crazy. No balanced offense. What is this OC doing? Yes. Again, Kevin Patullo gotta fucking go. Yes, that's probably the sentiment after this game, right? This is not good. Only 17 points this week after a week of, complaints and shining the light on the lack of offense. We don't see a vast improvement today. We just do not. I said that it would be tough to see that on a day like today because of Denver and their defense. And I don't know that if it was a lesser team, if it would have been any better. You understand what I'm saying? Like, from what I saw, I have to go back and see it again, because I'm full transparency. I kind of nodded a little bit, not much. And I didn't see everything, but from what I saw in the first half, not, okay. I mean, I saw some change. I saw an attempt to be better. I saw them with routes to get AJ and Devontae more involved. So I'll give them points for that. But the end result is still the end result, 17 points. 17 points. Look at the stats. Jalen did go over 230 yards last I seen, but he was sacked like the last I counted was 5. I don't know what the official number is. He was sacked a ton of times. It was a tough defense to bounce back from, but was it enough done today by the offense for you to feel optimistic moving forward? You guys let me know. Jack says, I feel sorry for those Giants Thursday night. Go Birds. Yeah. Now Giants game, I know it's only the Giants, you think, but as I stated, it's a division game. So that they're always tough. We can be 0-10. They could be 0-10. And they're still going to come in here and battle us tough. So it's not going to be a layup game. And with the way our offense is playing, no game is a layup game, right? No game is a layup game with the way this offense is performing. It's not hitting on all cylinders. Just seen little peaks of improvement, but 17 points is 17 points. I have to look at the numbers. I haven't looked at the numbers. Bill Crow, we are not as good as I thought. We are not as good as I thought. That is for sure. Dante, get rid of Ringo. Gary said, this is hard to watch. When Jalen is under center, we run. And when he is in shotgun, the defense putting their ears back and rush Jalen, he was sacked 6 times. Oh, it was 6. So that is a problem. I talked about that on Thursday night. That is a problem. I wasn't paying attention too much. I'll go back and look at the tape, but we are too predictable, right? We were, prior to this game, there was a game not too long ago, Jalen under center, they ran 97% of the time. I said that this going into this week may be an opportunity to get creative or switch it up some. If they've been running the ball 97% of the time that Jalen's under center, this would have been a great week to kind of institute some play action pass out of that same formation, right? Because you're starting to become so predictable that now you can probably fool them with running some play action pass out of that same formation, because everybody's been looking at this same tape and everybody sees that you run 90+% out of the under the center formation. Let's switch it up some. I don't think we saw that. According to Gary, we didn't see that. Daphne says BS on them last 2 plays. Dallas was definitely held. Yes, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Penalties, DeBoer says penalties. Yeah, penalties kind of look like a common theme. I don't know if the refs had some money on the game or what, man. This I don't like, and this might sound like I'm crying a crybaby attitude, but I don't like gambling in the sport. I don't. I really don't. You just can't tell me that money does not influence the game on the field. Money does. I'm sorry. So to me, I hate that aspect, but it is what it is. We have to live with it. Wilbert Jones says, hoping Denver is taking the refs with them to England because they suck there. They suck here. Offense look like trash again. Okay. Yeah, everybody give me your opinion, your personal opinion on the offense, because that's what we were looking for, right? That's the big question mark we've had going into this game all season, as a matter of fact, to be honest. All season we've been questioning the offense. You guys, give me your letter grade on what the offense looked like today. Put it in the chat. Give me a letter grade. Palatero says, pathetic performance. AJ want the ball and given on play. Pathetic. Giving up on plays, I guess. JT says it was a lot of BS calls. Everybody seems to agree that the officiating was crazy, was outrageous. Talib says no pass interference call, no intentional grounding. Yeah, that was crazy. Sirianni offense. I got that's my reckless speculation right there, Palatero. This is Sirianni's offense. This has a lot of, Sirianni written all over it. And I have nothing against the guy. He's won us the Super Bowl, so I have the utmost respect. I love the guy, right? But, emotional intelligence, right? That's what our owner talked about when he got rid of Chip Kelly. Oops, I said that name. Didn't mean to say that name, but when he got rid of that guy, he talked about hiring coaches with emotional intelligence. First thing on the list of emotional intelligence at the top of the list is self-awareness. Sirianni has to exercise some self-awareness. If you're not good at the offense, if you're not good at that, let it go. Let it go, man. Don't do it. Let it go. The mark of a good leader is not wasting a lot of time on their weaknesses. At this stage in life, you have some weaknesses that they're not going to, you're better served to work on your strengths than your weaknesses at a certain point in life. At this point, being 40 plus, it probably would benefit him more to work on his strengths. His strengths are motivational speaking. His strengths are motivating guys, inspiring guys to run through brick walls, to play football the right way, to want to win and do anything to win. Those are his strengths. His weakness, as I identify him, is calling plays or, designing plays, I guess. Those are your weaknesses. Delegate those duties. That's what good leaders do. They delegate what they're not good at, and they build on what they're strong in. You're not good at that. Delegate it before you have it delegated for you, because that's what Howie did last year. He delegated the play calling duties for you last year when he brought in Kellen Moore. That's what he basically did. He took that out of your control and gave it, and distinctly, specifically gave it to Kellen Moore. That was the talk coming out last year, right? That was the talk. Nick has been neutered. He's had the offensive plays and offense altogether taken from him. And I think Howie's just happy to have another Super Bowl, that he got excited and allowed him to promote his man from inside, and that doesn't seem to be the answer. We had 2 Nick promotions to offensive coordinator, in my opinion, Brian Johnson and now Kevin Patullo. I deem those Nick Sirianni promotions. I deem those Nick Sirianni decisions. And this is reckless speculation, because this is speculation not based on anything factual that I know of, right? Just me looking at it from my seat as a fan, from right here in my home, right? Brian Johnson was a Nick Sirianni promotion in my eyes. Kevin Patullo is a Nick Sirianni promotion in my eyes. Kellen Moore was a Howie Roseman hire in my eyes. Now, you guys tell me if I'm seeing something wrong. Did that look like that? Kellen Moore doesn't look like the other 2 OC hires, right? It doesn't look like that. The Brian Johnson and the Kevin Patullo hire looks the same, right? Who you think made that decision? The Kellen Moore hire as OC looks different. Who do you think made that hire? I'm just throwing it out there. So we are in this situation again. Last time we had that Nick Sirianni promoted OC was a disaster. Thus far, this promotion is not working out too well. It's not working out too well. Got to be honest. It's not working out too well. Is it getting better? Is it going to get better? I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think? Gary says we only play one half of football, and then the second half we sit on our hands. Yeah. Travis says we can't keep playing like this. Rachel says Ringo just out there. Ringo just out there, huh? Ringo is just out there. Sulema, damn penalties. And how do we give up a 17-3 lead going into the fourth quarter? Going into the fourth quarter, too. Like, that's most hurtful. How do you give up a 17-3 lead going into the fourth quarter? And I'm not talking about going into the half. I'm not talking about 17-3 going into the second quarter and there's 3 quarters left. I'm talking about 17-3 going into the final 15 minutes of the game. All you have to do is make sure you don't give up 2 touchdowns in the final quarter. A defense that plays as fine as this, all you have to do is not give up 2 touchdowns in the last quarter. I'm really disappointed in that defense for allowing that to happen. I am. I just 17-3 going into the fourth quarter. I don't know what you guys felt, but but I felt comfortable that we were going to come out of there with a win. I really did. I really felt comfortable. I really, watching the defense all day, I didn't feel that they had enough offensive power to actually beat us. I really was not worried about this game too much after seeing it unfold the way it did. And yet, and still, we sit here 4-1. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable what happened. I got to go back and watch this again. I might do it tonight. I probably will do it tonight. But this is incredible. Incredible. We're going to, I know there's going to be a lot of noise this week, a lot of talk. Get rid of Kevin. And it's not going to be anything different than what we've heard, except we probably won't hear a lot of AJ talk this week, I don't think. But we're going to hear that offensive coordinator talk. We're definitely going to hear that. This loss is probably going to cause the volume to be turned up a little louder on that chatter that we hear this week. On those calls for Kevin Patullo's head are probably going to be turned up a little bit this week after a loss in which you can probably point some of that blame to the offense not looking like we would like it to. Talib says, either way, the offense need to pull their head out of their duffel bags. Like that one. Jeremiah, AJ slowed up on the deep ball by Jalen. Yes, I saw that. Sad game because we were up. Yeah, you're right. Sad game because we were up. I don't know what it is about this team this year, but they don't seem to be, as my co-host would say, they don't seem to be playing with any type of flow. No type of flow. They're not in their groove. There's a such thing called flow. There's a book on it too called Flow. Go get it if you're into improving yourself. But this team has no flow. And flow is when you reach that state where things are just I'm not supposed to use the same word to describe what I'm talking about, right? But flow is that state where when you move into that state of things just clicking, things just flowing, your energy is good, and you seem to get a lot accomplished. Momentum is on your side, and this team has none of that, no flow at all. Gary says couple of calls by the refs do not have anything to do with the play calling in the second half. All right, so he's putting it all on Kevin Patullo. Talib, I saw AJ slow up on the pass. Yeah, we talked about that. Sue says we can't play a full game. Hey, Sue, how's it going? And you're right, though. We can't seem to put a full game together. Gary, this was hard to watch week in, week out. We play one half each week. I know. Jeremiah says no offense stalled in the second half again. Yeah. I do think they missed that interference call at the end, but we shouldn't have been in that position anyway. We had a good lead that we gave up. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Sulema. This is disappointing. This is disappointing. I probably should be more upset. I don't know, because I don't know. We've been giving a lot of energy to being upset when we've won. So I don't know if I maybe that has zapped my energy for being upset, because we've been upset so much over, the past 4 weeks, and we were 4-0. So, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not crazy mad right now. Maybe I need to sleep on it. Rachel says, well, we were up 2 scores and our defense folded. They let them go up and down the field easily. Yeah, mad talent, but definitely not the same team as last year. No, not the same play caller. No. Gregory says tough loss. O-line looks horrible. Yeah. And our defense can't get enough pressure on the QB. Yeah, that's noted. That's notable and noticeable. All right, here go the grades on the offense. All right, they're coming in. Here's Talib says a C-. Rachel says a C-. Travis gives the offense a D. JT gives the offense a B-. That's generous. Daphne gives them an overall grade of C minus, and Gregory is a D. This is for the offense. Now I don't know. Most of those grades are passing grades. So, I don't know. You don't fire somebody with passing grades, do you? You don't flunk a student if they have passing grades. These grades are acceptable. I don't know. They're not acceptable in my household. Not those D's. Not those D's. They're not. My kids can't do that. They can't bring home D's here. They'll be looking for somewhere else. But anyway, I'm only joking. But those grades don't look horrible. I mean, C's and D's. I don't know. We might have scholars out there. We may have honor roll students out there. But you'd let me know if you came home with C's. Would they be acceptable? Because that's what our OC is doing. He's coming up with C's. Are those fireable offenses? Those grades, I mean, says we failed consistently protecting the first down. What was time of possession? Oh, what was time of possession? PJW, too many costly penalties. I would have to agree with that. Too many penalties. I was shocked at the amount of flags that were flying. And against us too. That's what seemed lopsided. There were tons of flags flying, and they all seemed to be against us. Keep in mind, the entire league watched us go to the Super Bowl. It is not easy for the Eagles to win. No, it is not. We are the king of the hill, so to speak, and everybody is coming and swinging for us and bringing their best game. And Sean Payton, hats off to him, credit to him. I told you he was a masterful play caller and also a coach with a Super Bowl and a winning pedigree. And he coached like that today. Very calm. Game was slow. It was a defensive battle. I kind of predicted that. It was a defensive battle, and he was very patient. He seemed to be very patient with his play calling and his demeanor on the side. And he took advantage of the opportunity given and made the most out of it. Went up 18-17. And then that's when it really looked dire for our team because of the way our offense operates. I didn't feel confident that this was something that we could overcome. Not with the way we were playing up until that point. Up until the point they went up by 1, the offense was not looking like it was going to wake up. I didn't get that feeling, and it proved to be true. Robert says penalties cost us today, and my grade is a C minus. Well, again, C's are not failing grades. Are you saying that he's okay? He can stay? Dion says this was a game. Jalen should have used his legs more when it stalled. It was there. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even call what the problem is. Patrick, my co-host, is in the room. It should be here. It's never good to have a loss, but this loss might have opened the eyes of this team. We need to focus more moving forward. Yes, we do. It's a lot of personality going on. Now, no run game. It's easy. It easily could have been a bigger loss. The Broncos outfield was getting separation, but didn't bring the ball in. Second half showed a change. Okay. The D isn't acceptable from a team that just won the Super Bowl. A D isn't acceptable from a team that just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Not acceptable with the players we have. Should have been much better. I give them a big fat F on the offensive side of the ball. Penalties killed us, and refs screwed us, especially on that last drive. DG was definitely held. Yeah, I think we all agreed that. I was looking at it, and I was like, yo, yeah, that last play definitely was hold on his shoulder, kept him from getting reaching for the ball. That was a pass interference for me. Kyle O'Brien says another half of non-existent offense. It's either they run all game or pass all game, no mixing anything together. And that is a direct responsibility of the OC. I started our pregame talk with a long dialogue about how much of responsibility I lay in Kevin Patullo's lap, and that has not changed. It really hasn't. It's still him, and I'm not going to say him alone, but he's still a big chunk of the problem with this offense. Again, I made this point in the pregame. These players that we have on offense are, for except for one or two, the same players we've had on offense for the past 3 years. A player here and there might have changed, but this is the core group of offense that we've had for the past 3 years. So all those players are the constant. The one variable that we brought in this year was Kevin Patullo. This offense was a top 10 offense last year, even higher in the previous years. Top 10, they've been a top 10 offense almost every year, maybe except for the Brian Johnson year. I don't know where they finished then, but save for the Brian Johnson year, this offense has always been a top-ranked offense. And how could they not be? You look at the players we have on offense. Geez, we have an all-star team on offense. Saquon just got here last year, but prior to that, we had 1,200-yard rushers, Swift, Miles Sanders. They were all perennial 1,000-yard rushers. This offense was still productive. And here we are. The only times they haven't been productive is when Brian Johnson was calling plays and now Kevin Patullo. And this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. They're teetering on a Howie Roseman sighting. That's what they're seriously teetering on a Howie Roseman sighting in the locker room. What's that? What does that entail? That's going to entail how he's going to come down and make the rules here. I don't know if he can bring in another play call at this point, but he's going to come in and assess the situation, and maybe Nick is going to be told, "Don't leave them people alone. We're going to sink or swim with Kevin Patullo." I don't know. I don't know what that Howie's citing, but they're teetering on that. Howie's not going to let this season just blow up. He's probably patiently waiting on the side, giving them the opportunity to try to fix this thing. And this is just my imagination. I imagine Nick, making a case every week. Well, you see, we did this, we improved on that. Every week trying to make a case to not have the offense taken out of his hands. But I think we're getting close to that. How he's going to do something. I don't know what he can do, though. I don't know. First year when Nick was calling the plays and looked horrible, and I believe this was a Howie had some influence on this, although the story out of the locker room was Nick Sirianni willingly relinquished play calling duties. I kind of think that, or believe that Howie might have gave him a little nudge. I don't know, but similar to that, he relinquished play calling duties that first year and gave him the stipend, and everything was great. I don't know what he can do now, unless if my reckless speculation is true, and he has more say in the offense than I think he should have, then he needs to take a step back. He needs to take a step back and allow Kevin Patullo to do his job. If that speculation is true. I would hate that the other possibility is Kevin Patullo is actually calling the plays and he just sucks at it. That would be a worse scenario to me, because we don't have anybody that I know of that we can go to call plays. If Kevin Patullo is actually this bad, he's actually the one calling the plays with no influence from Nick Sirianni, then that's scarier than Nick Sirianni having a voice, a louder voice than he should have in play calling, because we don't have anyone to fall back on. If Kevin Patullo is this bad, who we going to get to call plays? We can't go to Nick. Nick is already bad. We know he's bad. So in this situation, the best thing that could happen, or could be true is Nick is meddling too much. And we asked Nick to stop meddling and allow Kevin to actually do his job. Because we might not even be seeing Kevin do, run plays that he want to play. We may be seeing Kevin obeying his boss's wishes. We learned that was sort of the case with Brian Johnson in his interviews after the Eagles job. He kind of alluded to the fact that was Nick's offense and Nick had an influence on that. So I don't know how much of Brian Johnson play calling abilities we got to see when he was in that seat. But in any event, something's got to change. Something has got to change. This does not look good. It doesn't. Talib says it could be worse. We could be the Ravens. Laugh out loud. They pay for a defense. Our season is not cooked. No, it's not. We still have life. That's the good thing. The good thing is, in the midst of all this offensive deficiency, we are still 4-1. That's the best thing out of all of it. Deshaun says, how do you run naked bootleg 14 times throughout the game and only made an adjustment finally in the fourth quarter? Kyle, the thing that annoys me the most is that the OC acts like we don't know he wasn't on the team last year. He knows what works. The O-line was getting killed, and he is still calling long developing plays. Also, Hurts need to recognize the blitz better. We all saw it. Yes, and what happened? Last week was a thing of beauty in that first half, and what made it so beautiful to me was the fact that they were blitzing and Hurts felt comfortable and knew where to go with the ball. I've been calling for that for years because that seems to be a formula of defensive coordinators when facing Hurts. They throw a lot of blitzes at him. And my complaint has always been, why don't we see packages specifically for the blitz? I had never seen packages specifically for the blitz, shorter routes, check downs, things of that nature. And I saw that last week in the first half. That's what made the first half offense so beautiful to me, or part of what made it so beautiful to me, is they actually schemed for blitzes and they had a plan to beat the blitz. Today, we're back to same old, same old. That's no good. That's no good, man. It's discouraging to see after watching this team play masterfully last year and win the Super Bowl. And to win the Super Bowl in dominant fashion, you would think that this crew, meaning coaching staff, had it together enough to, and I know that you can't run the same exact thing as the previous year, but I thought that last year gave them the blueprint on how to win, and all they need to do was tweak it. But they learned the biggest lesson, and that's how to win. Now it seemed like this offense is holding this team back again, and I don't know what the remedy is. You guys let me know. What is the remedy? What do you think helps this offense? Is it replacing the OC? Is it, because I'm talking, we all point in the OC direction, right? But does he have the ability to be better? You know what I mean? If this is actually him making these play calls, him designing and coming up with the scheme alone with no outside help, without any of my reckless speculation in play, if this is truly Kevin Patullo doing this on his own, what is the remedy? We stink, plain and simple, Hassan says. C's in a master's or a doctorate program is failing. OC and NFL is a graduate plus level. Oh, that's a good one, Rachel. That's a great case to make. You're absolutely right on that one. That's a great case to make. So C's are not good in the grad doctoral or master's program. A graduate level program, C's are no good. And he is in that level of a program as an OC in the NFL. I love it. Hassan, I don't know if Hail Mary way to Smitty or AJ, but they stopped each other from catching it. Yeah. And it was kind of like in the back of the end zone. It seemed like you would throw that towards the front or the middle of the end zone, not the back of the end zone. They don't have any room, to make a play if a tip happens or whatever. But JT, don't say that, JT. I'm trying not to believe that. Giving 2023 vibes. All right, I'll accept that it's giving those vibes, but I will never admit to the fact that it's similar. I just don't think it's similar because that team was soft, especially that defense. That defense was soft as tissue paper, and they didn't know how to play defense. They were horrible, and that was a major adjective that they used for that defense in 23. Soft. Well, we don't have a soft defense. Our defense is not soft, and I think that's the biggest difference between 2023 and now. We do not have a soft defense. Our defense keeps in the game most weeks. They are just as important, or they have been a main reason a lot of these wins that we have is because they've kept it controllable. Even today, they did give up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but overall 18 points. We would like to keep a team to 18 points on the norm, and this defense does a good job of doing that. We've not given up a lot of points this year. Our problem is we've not scored a lot of points this year. It's not our defense. Our defense is doing their job. Scoring defense-wise, they're doing a good job. Who complains about giving up 18 points? I mean, albeit very, very inopportune time to do that, but 18 points are not bad. I mean, 21 total because they got the field goal at the end. But that's not horrible. Our problem is we are not scoring a lot of points. Rob Gift says, I give a C- due to lack of offense in the second half, which left our defense out there a lot. Kevin is horrible, but we can't blame him. We can't blame him. Wait a minute. Think we have a lot of injuries, and Brown is starting to be a cancer because we trying to make him happy when Smith should be in number 1. Ooh, that's a big claim right there. I don't know. I think we can blame Kevin, though. I'm sorry. I disagree with that. But we do have a lot of injuries. Forgive me for taking this long before I mentioned them, but we do have some injuries along that offensive line, and they cannot be taken for granted. They cannot be ignored. We have Landon Dickerson went out today. Talked about him in the pregame. Lane Johnson is nicked up. This offensive line is not performing on the same physical level as they performed last year. They're not as dominant as they were last year. They're not performing on that same physical level as last year. It's evident. And that could be a big part of this also. That could throw a monkey wrench into your play calling ability. Is when you're the strongest part, or the most foundational piece of your offense is not intact and not performing at a high level. That can considerably affect your play calling and what it looks like. Because if any of these plays are successful, we're not looking at the OC like that. So I'll give you that one, Rob. Our injuries along the offensive line, it plays a big role. I'll give you that. Rachel, yes, Rachel. If you fall below a B on Masters, and you are removed from the program. Bye, Kevin. It says, bye, Kevin. See you later. Seems to me a Howie visitation will help maybe. Jack saying that. Not feeling well, DK. Oh, get better, Pat. I'll be front and center on Thursday. I'm sorry. Now, Pat, just as a real employer, I want you to feel better. There's viruses going around. I hope that you don't have any of those. But if I find out that it was because of too many shots, you will be shot. No, I'm only kidding. No, get better, get better, and be here on Thursday. But if I find out if it was because of shots, that's unacceptable. You gotta be able to handle your handle and still make it in. Rachel, I don't know why you would turn an offense like ours over to an unproven play caller when it ended so badly 2 years ago. I don't either. I had my speculation, man. I just had my speculation. Howie, Nick celebrating with the champagne. Everybody's all happy and like, all right, who we gonna get to be? He's like, you pick him. Howie probably drunk, telling Nick, you pick him. I don't know how it unfolded, but I don't know. It just seems to me that Howie gave Nick that I don't know, say privilege or the right to hire the next OC, and it just wasn't good. And I don't think Howie would have hired Kevin Patullo if it was his decision solely. I really think that was a Nick Sirianni decision, just as I think that Brian Johnson was a Nick Sirianni decision. Howie doesn't make emotional decisions. I'm sorry, he doesn't make decisions based on emotions. That's what I meant to say. He doesn't make decisions based on emotion. He makes decisions based on logic. Hence our analytics department. No, sometimes he can go overboard, but a lot of times it works. And I say a lot of time it works because in the last 8 years, we've been to the Super Bowl 3 times and have won it 2 times. And that's how we making decisions based on logics and analytics. So, if we make it through this year, if Kevin Patullo makes it through this year, I can see Howie making another choice for OC. And if Nick makes any noise, I can see Nick looking for another job. That's what I can see. Because we don't play. Howie does not play, and he shouldn't play. I know we've all had our doubts about Howie, but now Howie's he's a proven commodity at this point. He's a proven commodity. He's equipped Nick with the best roster in the league, multiple years. He's gotten or acquired players through deals that are miraculous in some instances. And on top of it all, he has won 2 Super Bowls and appeared in 3 as a GM. So he's a proven commodity. In Howie, I trust until otherwise proven. Howie has gotten the job done. You go with results. He's gotten the job done. He's done everything. He's, I can't believe I'm saying it because at one point I wasn't, but he's done it all. He's put the roster together. He's put the personnel department together. He's picked the coach. He's done all of that. So you can't, he's not the one you can probably tell he's wrong because his formula works. And we may need him to be a little more hands-on in this situation. I know he wants to allow Nick to coach, but he should have never, ever allowed Nick to pick an OC after that debacle in 2023. Should have never, ever let Nick do that. And I know there's still a grace period for Kevin Patullo, luckily, because we're 4-1. And the fact that we have 12 games left, he still has time and room to improve. And that's what our prayers probably need to be, because I don't see a firing of Kevin Patullo helping this situation. We saw, we tried to handle the defense in 2023 like that by changing DCs in the middle of the year. That was a disaster, complete disaster. So I don't see that happening. So he's going to have the opportunity to get better. He's going to have the opportunity to right this ship. Can he do it? Will he do it? I don't know. Hassan says that illegal formation on 4th and 4 cost us the game. Big momentum killer. Yeah, I agree. Daphne, looking online and people are losing their mind. Did I want to win? Yes, but the sky is not falling, guys. It was faults all around. Play calling, penalties, execution on plays. It's enough blame to go around. We'll be okay. Yes. All right, now we got to start playing, we got to calm the crowd down. We got to calm the angry mobsters down. Patrick Sandlin, are you hurt or injured, Pat? That's fun. All right, Ryan says, when fans and media say to pass it, doesn't mean to turn totally from the run. Just include longer throws throughout the game more while still running a lot too. Yeah, that is so disappointing. Why did you have to bring that up, Ryan? Because that right there to me shows the immaturity of some people in leadership positions. It's almost predictable when this narrative that we had this week comes out, and to see it responded to like that. Like I could tell you, AJ's bitching, we're going to throw the ball more to AJ the week after that. That should not be something that I could guess that easily, because that says that you are not as emotionally mature or intelligent as I think that you should be in that position. When you react just as people think you're going to react, that's not a sign of maturity to me. So I hate that we talk about not throwing it and then they throw it. When we talk about the predictability of the plays, that's a level of predictability that we shouldn't be reaching as a coaching staff. And that scares me. That really does scare me. I like Nick. I like the way he motivates, but I think that in certain situations he's a little bit immature. And that's one of those areas. I think with a banged up O-line and losing people like Mecca Beckham, along with having a new play calling, these are all factors. You're definitely right about that. 17 points, Patullo must go. Yeah, that's it. That's bottom line. 17 points, yo. 17 points. 17 freaking points. 17 freaking points. We have Jalen Hurts. Let's see. We have Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts, a top 10 quarterback. Saquon Barkley, a top 3 quarterback. Running back. A.J. Brown, a top 3 wide receiver. Devontae Smith, a top 20 wide receiver. Dallas Goedert, I would say a top 10. These are our players on offense. And I'm talking about that's like a Pro Bowl squad right there. And we have 17 points. And today we have 17 points and struggle. Last week we struggled. The week before we struggled. We have these players on offense and we are struggling to figure out ways to put points on the board. That's incredible. We have a hard schedule. We've now faced 4 out of our first 5 games were playoff teams from last year. And in all intents and purposes, they probably will be playoff teams this year. So we have a good record for the talent that we're facing, the opponents that we're facing. It's not anything to sneeze at. So I guess that's how we can start to calm some of the displeasure that us fans are experiencing right now, because we are, and I don't think that's going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. This week is going to be wild. This week is going to be the angry mob with tiki torches headed towards the NovaCare Center. I'm telling you, Kevin Petula, watch your back. Just watch your back. Watch your back. When you're at the Wawa, don't turn completely around when you get your coffee. Turn to the side so you can, see every angle and all that. I'm just saying. Watch your back. All right, Knicks was 14-18 in the second half. We just got outplayed today. Jeremiah says preseason over. It's been 5 weeks. 5 weeks. At this point, believe it or not, I'll take a chip for an OC. Oh, I don't think it's all on the OC because Kevin was a part of this offense last season. Yeah, but what part did he play? He said he was the passing game coordinator. As with companies, you might have a position and you might not do much in your position. I don't know what his responsibilities are, but I've been in organizations where people hold titles and they don't do a lot. They don't. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. So he might have been the passing game coordinator, but what was his duties really? Because it baffles me that the passing game coordinator can't design passing routes that are effective. So, I know what you're trying to say, Tali. I know what you're trying to say, but his actions, unless, of course, Nick Sirianni is having a heavy influence, that's a possibility. I don't know. I'm going to go down. You guys have a lot to say. Sean Kuba, if they wouldn't fire Brian Johnson in season, they ain't going to fire Kevin P. in season. They have been kind of disciplined at times this year, and everything that went wrong can be trimmed and fixed. Boys might need this loss to remind them how much losing sucks. All will be well. I have faith things will tighten up. We need Sean to come to the head of the class. We need Sean to get on the microphone. I'm not of that energy right now. Don't get me wrong. I have all, positive energy for my team and the such, but I'm not at this point right now. Have to be fully transparent. I am not even that optimistic. There is that possibility. I am optimistic. There is that possibility. I don't know how real it is that it's going to happen. It's 5 weeks. I know it's not the end of the world, but it's 5 weeks, man. We should start seeing some improvement by 5 weeks. And I know everybody has their own time frame on how they process and get better and the such. And I probably shouldn't do this, but comparing this to last year, that 5th week is when we started to reach our stride. And I know the situation was different. The circumstances were different. It was more desperate back then. We were 2-2. It was more desperate. We're 4-1 now. And yeah, there is that possibility, Sean. Maybe you need to be where I am right now to kind of bring that optimism. I'm usually the one that does it. I'm usually that one. I did it last week. People were wanting to jump all over the offense last week. Was it last week or the week before? I was the one that kept talking about glass half full. I'm starting to lose that optimism, that positivity, that optimism. Let me say that. The longer we continue on down this path where this offense looks bad, the just a little bit of optimism seeps out every week. I know there's a lot of weeks left. We still have an excellent team. We are still the defending world champions, and it's going to be hard to take that away. We're not giving that up without a fight, but we can't do it to ourselves. Let the other team beat us. Let's not beat ourselves, and that's what I think we're doing when our offensive coordinator is not performing at his best. We talk about the offense not performing at its potential. Our offensive coordinator, in my eyes, is not performing to his potential. Well, let me walk that back a little bit. because I don't know what his potential is. So I'm going to walk that statement back. I don't know what his potential is. I know what the potential of this offense is because I've seen that in the past. I've seen the potential of this offense. I've seen the potential of A.J. Brown. I've seen the potential of Devontae Smith. I've seen the potential of Saquon Barkley. I've seen the potential of Jalen Hurts. I've not seen the potential of Kevin Petula. So I can be 100% accurate when I say I've seen the potential in this offense and they're not living up to it right now. I don't know what Kevin Petula's potential is. This may be it. He may be performing up to his potential and more. This may be the level of, it may be the limit of where he can go. I don't know. But I do know it's got to get better. We have a game on Thursday. So upon further review, will be, combined with the pregame show for Thursday. So we're going to go, I am at least, and watch this game again and see what I see, fully awake this time. See what I see. And we're going to then, and you do the same. If you have the ability to go and watch this game again, go watch this game again. And try to look at it through the lens like Sean. That it's just a couple of things we need to clean up. Try to look at it through that lens. And we'll reconvene here on Thursday before our Thursday night game against the New York Giants. Not going to be an easy game. We got to turn it around. We got 4 days to turn this around and get back on track. I'm your man, DarkKnight. For my co-hosts, Pat and Nichelle, in their absence, come back on Thursday, and we'll talk about it. You have a great week. Try to have a great week with this loss looming over our heads. Try to have a great week, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. I'm out. Peace.